Now let's talk about the next question. The next question is, which of the following statement correctly describe fourth schedule? So it is asking what is the purpose of fourth schedule. First option is it lists distribution of power between the union and the states. Second option is it contains the languages listed in the constitution. Third option is, or option C is, it contains the provisions regarding administration of tribal areas. And then fourth option is it contains the provisions regarding allocation of seats to the states in the Rajya Sabha. So let's talk about the answer. It's a first option is it is distribution of power between the union and the states. So we know that this is not correct. Why? Because this is the seventh schedule that talks about the distribution of power in the terms of three lists: union list, provincial list or state list, and concurrent list. So this is the seventh schedule, not the fourth schedule. Then it contains the languages listed in the constitution. It is also not correct because it is eighth schedule that talks about 22 languages, scheduled languages, 22 scheduled languages. Then it contains the provisions regarding administration of tribal area. This is also not correct because this is not fourth schedule but fifth schedule. Fifth schedule that talks about the tribal areas, administration of tribal area. Then it contains the provisions regarding allocation of seats to the states in Rajya Sabha. This is the correct statement. That yes, fourth schedule talks about the allocation of seats to the states in the Rajya Sabha. That as we know that in the Rajya Sabha, the total number of seats is 250. Out of this, 229 will be from the states. 229 members will be from the states, and then representative of states, and then 12 will be nominated by the president. 12 nominated by president to the Rajya Sabha, and then the rest 9 will be from the union territories having legislature. So those union territories that have legislature, they will be represented in the Rajya Sabha by these 9 seats. But you know that Parliament, we know that Parliament has power to regulate this number, and Parliament has regulated this number, and at present there are only 4 seats allocated in the Rajya Sabha to the union territories. Out of it, 3 are to Delhi and 1 to Puducherry, because only these 2 union territories have state legislature, have legislature or legislative assembly. So this is the reason this is the reason that why only these 2 union territories have been represented in the Rajya Sabha. So at present the total the number of seats in the Rajya Sabha is 245 is the present seats in Rajya Sabha, present membership of Rajya Sabha in Rajya Sabha, and this is the all about. So these 229 seats that are allocated for the representation of states, how the election will be held to these 229 states is and how many seats are to be allocated to which state has been decided by the fourth schedule. So fourth schedule allocate the seats to the states in the Rajya Sabha, allocate the representation of states in the Rajya Sabha. For example, we have 31 members in the Rajya Sabha from UT, from the Uttar Pradesh. We have 19 members from Maharashtra and 18 members from Tamil Nadu. These are the 3 biggest states that are represented in the Rajya Sabha. So this is the reason, and this is allocated by the fourth schedule. So fourth schedule talks about the allocation of seats to the states in the Rajya Sabha. Now let me tell you about something more with regard to the Rajya Sabha. Allocation of seats to the states fourth schedule, and it is talked about fourth schedule. So fourth schedule talks about the allocation of seats to the states in the Rajya Sabha, and there are 229 states. They have been allocated in different states. For example, 31 to UP, 19 to Maharashtra, 18 to Tamil Nadu, and so on and so forth. So this is the allocation of seat. But some important points with regards to the allocation of seats is that, as we know that the representation in Rajya Sabha comes under the matter of representation in Rajya Sabha, matter to representation in Rajya Sabha, representation of states in Rajya Sabha is a federal feature. And when it is a federal feature, so to change the representation of Rajya Sabha, to amend the representation of Rajya Sabha, Parliament requires a special majority along with ratification by not less than 50% of the total state legislature. But there are some matters that can be changed by simple majority. For example, if there is a change in the seats in the allocation of seats in the Rajya Sabha due to change in Article 2, change in Article 3, then this change can be done just by simple majority. No need to do special majority and ratification by the states. So if there is a change in allocation of seats, due to change in Article 2 and Article 3, so it does not require special constitutional amendment. It does not require constitutional amendment under Article 368, that too by special majority and ratification by the state. For example, let me tell you some examples. For example, suppose today UP has 31 members to the Rajya Sabha. UP has been allocated 31 members from this state to the Rajya Sabha. But suppose tomorrow UP is divided into 3 parts, and then some 15 members are allocated to one part. For example, to Bundelkhand region. Suppose rest 15 members. Suppose 88 members are allocated to the eastern UP, and rest 8 members are suppose allocated to the western UP. Then, and this is due to, and we know that a state can be bifurcated, altered, the boundary of a state can be bifurcated, altered under Article 3, and a change in Article 3 does not require amendment under Article 368. This can be done just by a simple majority. Parliament can do this type of amendment just by simple majority. And due to this simple majority, due to this change, there is a change in allocation of seats in the Rajya Sabha also. So this change does not require, even this change also does not require a special majority and ratification by states. This can be done just by, just by a simple majority. So these are the two instances in which, though there is a change in the allocation of seats in the Rajya Sabha, but it does not require ratification by more than half of the states and special majority, that is amendment under Article 368. One more thing is that, suppose, for example, today Sikkim, when Sikkim was not, suppose there is a state A, and this is not part of Indian Union. But if this state is inducted into the Indian Union, obviously this state should also be represented in the Rajya Sabha. And to give representation to the Rajya Sabha, we need to change the fourth schedule. And so this change in the fourth schedule due to introduction of induction of new state into the Indian Union does not require a special majority and ratification by more than half of the states. Ratification by more than half of the states. Even this also can be done. This change in the fourth schedule also can be done just by simple majority under Article 2 itself. So these are some of the provisions that I wanted to tell you about the fourth. So let me summarize what did I tell you. First, I tell you that fourth schedule contains the provisions with respect to allocation of seats in Rajya Sabha to the states. Second thing, I told you that which are the states that have the maximum number of seats. First, I told you that UP has 31 members. The state of UP has 31 members to the Rajya Sabha. Then Maharashtra has 19 members, and then Tamil Nadu has 18 members. And these are the biggest states that are represented in the Rajya Sabha. Then I told you that if any amendment in fourth schedule requires, is can be done just by under Article 368, and that too by special majority plus ratification by more than half of the state legislature, more than half of state legislatures, because I told you that this fourth schedule, the matter in the fourth schedule is related to federal feature. It is a federal feature. And this is the reason that to change the federal feature, we require an amendment under Article 368, that too by special majority and ratification by more than half of the state legislatures. And then, but I told you there are some exceptions, and the exceptions are that there are two cases in which, though an amendment is being done in fourth schedule, but it can be done not by under Article 368, does not require amendment under Article 368. If suppose there is a change in Article 2, and due to this change there is an amendment there is a law under Article 2, and due to this law, due to this amendment, there is a change in fourth schedule, and there is an amendment Article 3, and due to this amendment there is a change in the fourth schedule. If any amendment under Article 3, any amendment under Article 2 lead to changes in the fourth schedule, this can be done just by simple majority, that is more than 50% of the votes present and voting, members present and voting. This can be done by simple majority. It does not require constitutional majority, or it does not require special majority and ratification by more than half of the states legislature under Article 368. So this is the thing that I wanted to tell you. Now let's come to the next question. The next question is, in what ways does the Parliament exercises control over the administration or over the administrators? And here administrators include the personnel of UPSC, the members of DOPT, and CAG, and you can say CIC, and all these things, and CBC, CBI, and all these are come under the administrators. So it is asking, how does the Parliament exercises control over the administrators? Options are through parliamentary committees. Second option is through consultative committee on various ministries. Third option is by making administrators and periodic reports. send periodic reports, and last option, by comparing the